everyone, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I'm your host, as always, Rich Tiemann. This is the award-winning Fan Show. That's right, everyone's a fan of something, and we've got something for every fan. And today, it's Wednesday, it's a little bit slower of a news day. The Combine has started, so there's that in the football world. But there's some other headlines as well, which we will get to. And as promised, today is the day we have Power Rankings Day is back. Not one, but two sets of Power Rankings for Week 3 of the AAF and for Week 1 of the IFL. I have both of those right here. I'm staring at the list right now. Some of you may agree or disagree, and that's fine. That's what we're here to discuss. So jump in the comments if you're watching on Facebook Live on the Fan Show's Facebook page, facebook.com/fanshowofficial, or the chat function up on Spreaker.com/user/thefanshow, where you can listen live, of course. And if you would like to jump in, be a part of the conversation once we leave our Facebook Live and go over to just Spreaker so that you can hear our interviews. Not one, but two interviews today. We got a lot of not one, but twos going on. And it's not even Tuesday. It's Wednesday, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun here. We've got Vincent Jackson Jr., University of South Florida. He's from CGS. Him and I did not get a chance to interview while I was down there, but he was so impressed with the way that everything had gone with myself and the rest of the guys that I interviewed. He's like, hey, if you're going to do any more, I'd love to be on. I said, absolutely. Say no more. We'll make it happen. Just like that. And so we'll hear from him and Kevin Thompson, my man. Kevin Thompson is a special guy, and he's special because he believes himself to be an underdog. He thinks that he's got something to prove, that it's him versus the world, and there's that little chip on the shoulder. But he's such a good dude, and he was one of my favorite interviews while I was down at CGS, and he will be back to talk tonight, and that's a great conversation as well. So I welcome all of you. I'm glad that you were able to tune in. Should be a great one. And so with that, let's go ahead and get to today's headlines. Headlines, of course, brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises, the guys that make awesome stuff like stickers, like these. That one's upside down. That one. Awesome stickers. They make banners. I just ordered something brand new from Dynamite Enterprises that will be making its debut. It'll be making its debut for stop number 1 of the Fan Show Tour 2019. Very excited about that. So they can do pretty much anything you want, including, I found this out last week. I was talking with Ethan. They do belts now. Now, I'm not going to say get your belts from Ethan because I have belt guys, Undisputed Belts. They make phenomenal championship belts. They've been doing it for a long time. They've been one of my longest partnerships, so I'm going to keep going with them. But Ethan, he has ordered his first belt through Simba, I believe was the website that it was called, and we'll see how that one turns out. I said, hit me up when you get it. I'd love to come and check it out and see it, give you my expertise on it to see if it's worth promoting that you do that now. But everything else they can do, and they do really well. Hats, beanies, not this one, but this is an example. And those of you wondering how many hats I have, a lot. It's kind of symbolic. I'm a person of many that wears many hats in what I do, and so this is an example of that. I wear many hats on the show when I record this. And also, for those of you wondering, isn't it loud when you're playing the theme through the headphones for us watching on the Facebook Live, and then you put them on? It's very loud. Turn it down quickly. It's very, very loud. But I love my theme song. Andy Rumsey did an amazing job. But enough talk about all that. Dynamite Enterprises. You need something custom. Shirts, beanies, hats behind me, right? Banners, stickers, posters, whatever, promotional material especially, then you need to hit up Ethan at dynamiteenterprises.com. Email him directly. Say, hey, heard about you on the Fan Show. Or you can visit dynamiteenterprises.com and be like, ooh, I like that, I like that, I like this, and then place an order. So I encourage you to do that because Ethan does an amazing job. So today's headlines, not a whole lot, but we do have some. Obviously, we are the calm before the storm. Wednesday, it's kind of that, okay, we've recapped what happened. Now let's get ready for what's about to. It's usually how it works with sports over the weekend. So the Sugar Skulls of Tucson have unveiled their new uniforms. There are 3 versions of them, home, away, and an alternate. Home and away, your classic black, your classic white. Sugar Skulls logo, I'm a big fan of it. I'm not so much a fan of the name, the Sugar Skulls. I thought they were going to go with Desperados, but that's just me. But still, I think that they're really onto something down in Tucson. I think they will be a well-run franchise. Hopefully they're a competitive team. We'll find out this weekend, and we will talk about that tomorrow. So make sure that you don't want to miss the IFL Week 2 preview. But they unveiled them. Their alternate one, though, is bright yellow. I mean, it is yellow. It is very, very yellow. And it's not just the jersey. It's the jersey and the pants. I mean, we're talking yellow. It's yellow. And I think the helmet's yellow, too. So that's going to be something to see out on their all-black field or charcoal field. I mean, it's going to pop, right? But when I saw it today, I was like, that is a yellow uniform. That is very yellow. You know the Rams Color Rush jersey uniforms? It's that, pretty much, without the blue numbers. They got, I think, white numbers, if I'm not mistaken. So they unveiled their new uniform. You can go and check them out on their Instagram page as well as their Facebook page. I encourage you to do so. And then let's see what else we've got here. Let's see. Nick Foles will not be franchise tagged. In fact, let's get the scoop on that one. I'm sure that there's somebody that's been doing their due diligence in regards to what's happening today in the world of football. Let's see. Nick Foles. Is there any Nick Foles? I don't see it. I don't see anything. It was trending. Earlier. Okay. So the trending tweets, Eagles will not franchise tag Nick Foles. I think that's it. Philadelphia executive Howie Roseman said the team will not franchise tag Foles, allowing him to become an unrestricted free agent on March 13th. This is kind of big news because the big question with how well Foles seems to do in the postseason when called to do so is, will it be Wentz or will it be Foles? A question we never thought that we would ask ourselves, fans of Philadelphia or not, because it just seemed like one was a flash in the pan and the other was the next up-and-comer. And then since, there has been a lot that has been called into question. And this was reported during the start of the NFL Combine. It was one of their media, their pressers that they did. So, executive from the Eagles, Foles will become an unrestricted free agent March 13th. Where will he land if he's not an Eagle next year? Because there's a lot of teams that could use a Nick Foles, which is a phrase I never thought I would say ever. Next up, Kevin Owens returned on SmackDown last night. Some wrestling news for you. I thought it was great to hear. I haven't seen it yet. I watched Raw. I thought Raw was great. And, it's it's hard to keep up with wrestling when you can't see it live. But Raw, I thought they did very well. It was great to see Roman Reigns back. It really was. And, it's good to have him back. I wonder what's going to happen with the title picture now. But Roman Reigns is back. Becky Lynch is still doing Becky Lynch things. Batista attacked Ric Flair, which will set up Batista Triple H at Mania, which different angle, not the one I thought they would go with. But, do your thing. And let's see here. What else did we have in the world of sports? Foles. Oh, Johnny Manziel is in the news again, in case you were wondering. Johnny Manziel has been banned from the Canadian Football League for violating his contract. Less than a year after signing his first CFL contract with the Montreal Alouettes, Manziel is done in the CFL for violating the agreement that made him eligible to play in the league to begin with. there's some people you can't fix. There's just some that you simply cannot get right. You know what I mean? It's one of those where you give chance after chance after chance. There's guys waiting for their first chance that are going bonkers with these guys getting chance number 3, 4, and even 5, and it really shouldn't come to that. I don't know what all the details are. I mean, obviously there's a statement from Manziel right here, which let's see. This says that the Alouettes have been directed by the CFL to terminate the player contract of international quarterback Johnny Manziel after it was found that he had violated the agreement. That's not what it says. It doesn't say violate. It says a different word, which I've never seen that word. Violated the agreement which made him eligible to play in the league. Quote, "We are disappointed by this turn of events. Johnny was provided a great deal of support by our organization in collaboration with the CFL, but he has been unable to abide by the terms of his agreement," the general manager of the Alouettes. He continued to say, "We worked with the league and presented alternatives to Johnny, who was unwilling to proceed. We are confident going into 2019 training camp with a roster of quarterbacks that had played in our system last year and are committed to our team." Like, do you know how hard it is to get banned by something Canadian? That just seems like that'd be really, really hard to do because they're always sorry and they always forgive, but apparently not this time. And I say that knowing full well that I just watched Super Troopers 2 last night, and so everything is very stereotypical and very fresh in my mind. But sorry, not sorry, Johnny Manziel, man, you gotta figure your stuff out. You really do, because it's a little ridiculous to have that be part of the news. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, here's that guy who's in the headlines again for the same reason. He's doing all the wrong stuff. There was a Swoop statue unveiled at the EWU bookstore. For those of you in the Cheney area, go check it out. Looks just like him. Damn near picture perfect. But will he do funny poses with you like the real Swoop will? Probably not. Probably not. And let's see here. There were comments apparently made about Eli Manning, which I don't know if I care much for. Head coach Pat Shurmur says Eli Manning will be back with the Giants this season. Cardinals GM Steve Keim asked today by reporters if Josh Rosen is Arizona's quarterback. Quote, "Yeah, he is right now for sure," which is never for sure. It's just not. It's never, ever for sure. Okay, so let's move along then. There wasn't anything that happened recently in pop culture or music. Pop culture, though, I will say I've been binge-watching Sons of Anarchy again, even though I've seen the whole series. I watched it as it aired. And I gotta say, when you binge-watch something, you catch a lot more, especially the subtle changes and things that happen because you're going back to back to back to back to back to back to back. But you also can pinpoint the exact moment that the show started to suck. And that's exactly where I'm at with Sons of Anarchy. Thankfully, it's almost over. But man, like you get so involved in a television show, you like associate with the characters, you latch on to a character or two, and then by the end of it, you kind of drifted away, and you wonder like how you got so into something that ended so terribly. And then you watch back, and you're like, oh, that's how. And then you watch, and you're like, why did I get so put out by this? And then you're like, oh, that's when. So there's that for you. But power rankings. All right, we ready? We ready for the power rankings? You guys want AAF or IFL first? Let's do AAF first because there will be changes, obviously, from last week to this week as we are in week 3 with the IFL power rankings. No change because this is the first set of power rankings from the league. So without further ado or any more delay, number 8. The Atlanta Legends. No change. They are 0-3. They continue to unimpress. And I'm not trying to knock this team because with this league as a whole, I really wanted to see something special. And I feel that I have as a whole, but it's not coming from Atlanta. The Legends really need to get it figured out. They sit at the bottom for, I think, probably the second week in a row now because they were dead last week. Number 7, again, no change, is the Memphis Express, a team that I really thought was going to be good, and not because it's a new team in a new league and that's where my hopes and expectations were, but because they're a Mike Singletary team. They've got a guy I know from the indoor league, from the National Arena League, Fabian Guerra, and I thought they were going to be a force to be reckoned with, but it's not clicking with them quite yet. So they sit number 7 for the second week in a row. Number 6, down 1 from last week, San Antonio Commanders. They are 1-2. They're on a 2-game skid, which early, yes, but where you want to be, no. So they will have a chance to correct it. Obviously, we will go over the Alliance of American Football League predictions tomorrow. And then number 5, down 2 spots. That's right. This is our biggest jumper down-wise, and that is the Arizona Hotshots, who lost to the San Antonio Stallions. Or Salt Lake Stallions. Now, this is more on probably personal feeling about the team because they are below a 1 and 2 team. However, it's something where I felt that this team was getting very lucky with their first 2 wins and that their luck would run out, and then they lost, and so I feel like their luck did run out. Now, this team is a team that may or may not be lucky. They can certainly prove that in the weeks to come. But for right now, number 5 is the winning record 2-1 Hotshots, the only team with a winning record not in the top 4. And that's where we're at with power rankings at this point in the season with the AAF, is that it's just because your record does not reflect how you did that week. Simply does not. Then we have number 4 up to the biggest jumper from last week, the Salt Lake Stallions. Great win over the Hotshots. They've always been in every game that they've played, and I feel like their ability to finish a game and get that W for the first time merits them a top 4 consideration, and so there they sit at number 4. Number 3 is the San Diego Fleet, up from number 1, up 1 spot from last week, and they're on a 2-game winning streak as opposed to the Commanders' 2-game losing streak. And they are really getting it figured out. They're firing on all cylinders, I feel. Their offense has been really impressive lately, as well as their defense. Then we have number 2 is the undefeated Iron, 3-0. No change from last week. Iron continue to play solid football. They're the only team I feel that has a true identity, but that cannot overtake the number 1 spot from the reigning defending number 1 in our weekly power rankings for the 3rd consecutive week, and 3rd week in a row for the Iron too. The Apollos of Orlando simply cannot be knocked off that top spot, at least yet. 3-0, they're getting it done offensively, defensively. If they need a comeback, they get a comeback. If they just need to outscore you, they outscore you. If they want to lay it down thick, they'll do that too. So there are your Week 3 AAF power rankings. Number 1, Apollos, 2, Iron, 3, Fleet, 4, Stallions, 5, Hotshots, 6, Commanders, 7, Express, 8, Legends. And now for the IFL power rankings, first time ever. Number 10 is the Tucson Sugar Skulls, only because they have not played. They are a brand new team, an expansion team in the league. They are number 10 in the league, and now they are number 10 in the power rankings because we haven't seen anything about this team yet. They could make the biggest jump from this week to next week based on how they play in their first time ever. But until I see them in action, you do not have a place in anything above last. And if there was another team that was an expansion team that hadn't played yet, then we'd probably have tied for 9th and 10th or whatever last is. So number 9 is Bismarck, 0-1. I don't know a lot about this team, but I do know that they have had history, right? They came from the CIF. They were a decent team there last year. Of course, new year, new team. You can't hold anything really. You can't hold a lot against the team from last year to this year. But nonetheless, here we are. Bismarck at number 9. And then number 8 is San Diego, the Strike Force, an expansion team. Played Quad City, who is a team that is established from another league, and they sit there at number 8. Now, the only reason that number 7 is Green Bay, all 3 of them have an 0-1 record right now, but the only reason that Green Bay is above San Diego and Bismarck, despite scoring less, is because I feel their strength of opponent. Rattlers are top 3 teams, if not one of the best in the league at really any point in time. It's always been Iowa, Arizona, Sioux Falls. And Green Bay, it was a tale of 2 halves. They were really in there the first half. It got blown out a little, but they hung in there with one of the best teams and they both have established histories, and it's really sort of a benefit of the doubt vote of confidence for Green Bay, and that's why they're above San Diego and Bismarck. So you can argue with me, that's fine, you're welcome to, but I chose to put Green Bay above San Diego and Bismarck because this team has a history, they played a tough opponent, and they played well despite what the final score may say. They were still in that game 2 of the 4 quarters. And I'm not saying that San Diego and Bismarck weren't in their games. I'm just saying that San Diego is a brand new team. Bismarck is new to the league. But, their performance, it was a game of catch-up pretty much throughout the whole thing. And the only reason that some of the scores were as close as they were was because of garbage time touchdowns. And that's, it counts for some, but not a lot. So then number 6 is the River Kings. They're the best loser of week 1. They really were. In a game that should not have been as close as it was, it was. And the only difference between them and a W, or a loss and a W, was a walk-off field goal that was good by the IFL's special teams player of the week. Not the fan shows, the IFL's. And then number 4 is the Danger. Hell of an outing, but they did get into last year's playoffs with a losing record. So are they good, or were they just good enough to beat a team that's brand new to the league, the Bismarck Bucks? We'll see. But they are undefeated for the moment. Very impressive on offense, very impressive on defense. Number 3 is the Sioux Falls Storm. Again, the game should not have been as close as it was, but I believe that this team, again, this is a vote of benefit of the doubt that I'm giving them, that they will turn it around, that they will continue to get better and improve. This is not the last time you see them in the top 3 for a game that was that close or for just winning that week. They will probably find themselves in the top 3 and 4 all season long. Number 2 is the Arizona Rattlers, because again, I feel that they, amongst Iowa and Sioux Falls, are at any given week can be the best team in the league, and they beat one of the more well-known teams that I feel is a very hungry team in the Green Bay Blizzard. Then number 1, because they haven't played yet, but because they are your reigning defending IFL United Bowl champions, there's no reason to knock them off the number 1 spot. So they will get their first action this week. But yes, your number 1 team for the week 1 power rankings, because they're the champs until otherwise, is the Iowa Barnstormers. So there you have it, your week 1 IFL power rankings. If you agree, disagree, I will post them to the respected social media later on. But this is the point in time where I direct you to jump onto the Spreaker.com website where you can hear the rest of this show. First up is Vincent Jackson from University of South Florida. We might go a little bit over our time today, but that's all right. It's a Wednesday episode and it's a good one. So enjoy my conversation with Vincent Jackson. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Combine Week, and we are doing our follow-up to CGS. But the next guest, we didn't get a chance to chat at CGS. He is Vincent Jackson of University of Central Florida. How you doing, man?
South Florida.
South Florida. University of South Florida. We'll get it right.
everybody gets that stuff.
Oh, so how's things been since CGS?
Things have gone pretty well since the College Gridiron Showcase. I was pretty happy at the opportunity that I had up there in Texas, and just what has happened and what's transpired here in Tampa ever since then.
Now, Florida and Texas are both pretty big football states. Are you native to Florida?
Yeah, I'm straight out of Tampa. I'm from Tampa, Florida.
Gotcha. So what was, I don't know how many times you've been to Texas before, or if you've had a chance for an extended stay like you did with College Gridiron Showcase, but I mean, not that it's the best sample experience for the football culture, but what was it like for you to go from pretty much one football state to another for the CGS?
I mean, I haven't really left the state in terms of football, probably the CGS, and back when I was in my senior year leaving, when I played for the USA national football team. We also played in Dallas. Those are the only 2 times I was able to get out and just see. I saw the different schools in Texas have like indoors and stuff like that. And then now being in college, I see people from different states. I mean, it's great to play against people from different regions and things of that nature. But I mean, I think nothing comes close to people from Florida, just Florida football period.
Yeah, Florida's big football country, and so is Texas. But obviously,
Yeah,
there's
sure.
there's some lines drawn in the sand as far as which one produces the better athlete. What you side with Florida? You think Florida produces the best athletes in the country?
Oh yeah, no question, not even close.
Not even close. So, what was life like at University of South Florida?
I mean, it's a beautiful campus. It's here in Tampa, my hometown. Everything was it was just a great experience to kind of experience major college football from my hometown. And just to be able to play against teams like Florida State that I watched growing up and have a great rivalry with Central Florida, and be able to play on TV just about every week was a great experience for me.
Yeah, how were the crowds for something like that? I imagine that a school like yours in a state like that, it's probably going to be close to sellout in big stadiums every week.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, people they get up for the in-state games, like if we play Florida State or Central Florida. Most of our conference games, for the most part at home, were kind of on and off, hit or miss. A lot of the away games that we played to these past 2 years with us being ranked were actually pretty great crowds. I remember going to Cincinnati this year, and that was probably one of the best atmospheres I played in at an away game in our conference. And it was just great to experience that. We played on the road against a lot of cold teams, a lot of teams that are known for different sports, not necessarily just football. So it was great to just play in those teams.
That's awesome, man. So what's the question I've been asking everybody since obviously the Combine's starting today. Some of you guys are there, some of you guys are not, but either way, you're getting ready for your pro days and whatever else before the big day, which is draft day. And so what's keeping you grounded and focused at home right now, since this is an experience that you've never gone through before and you'll never go through again?
For the most part, just the journey that I've taken, where I've came from up until this point, is keeping me kind of level-headed. I need to keep my head down and just focus on the task at hand, because I feel like I have a lot of improvement. In high school, I've had a lot of kind of proving people wrong type of things to do, and I feel like this is a great opportunity for one of those things to happen. And I'm just hoping that I stay focused enough, and I know I will, that I do well come my time to shine.
Now, a lot of people, New Year's resolution will be, I want to get fit, or if I'm fit, I want to stay fit. So they, hit the gym hard January, and then maybe by February that kind of has rolled off a little bit, or they're a bit more relaxed about it. I'd say that CGS, it was kind of that kickstart to the new year for a lot of you guys. Is that how you've taken it, or what was CGS for you, being that it was the first event like that of the year, and now all sights are set on getting ready for the draft and the next chapter of your professional football life?
I mean, it definitely helped out in terms of getting back in shape and just getting back into football, because we had a game. Not late December this year, usually is, but we had it probably mid to late December. So I was able to kind of work off with some injuries, whatever we had on.
All right, Vincent, we lost you, but we got you back. So you were talking about CGS and kind of being that to get you back in shape and getting you ready for the new year. And what else was it? Purpose do you feel it served?
Basically, it just woke me up to this basically being grind time. Like I was like, I need to get myself going body wise and make sure that I'm in shape for pro day and individual drills, things of that nature. The CGS had a lot of things that kind of helped us along the way with the longer individual periods and the longer one-on-one periods and stuff like that. They kind of shape up for somewhat of the NFL camp practice.
Gotcha. What's your support system like? Is it family, friends, coaches, all of the above? Like, how's that been through this whole process for you?
Yeah, for the most part, I turn back to my family a lot for support. I'm not one of those that's like kind of lash myself out begging people for support and stuff like that. I have a close knit group of friends. Yeah, some of them are in the NFL right now. Some of them are trying to get there. So I kind of see them and kind of see what it takes. And they try and encourage and things like that of that nature. We all do. That's just how we are, guys from Tampa, guys from Florida. We just stick together like that, and because we all want to see each other make it at the end of the day. So that's just where most of my support comes from.
Absolutely, man. I think you guys putting in the work, obviously attending an event like CGS, you want to take advantage of every opportunity that you can get. So now that you're here, and now that we're about to flip the calendar to March. I mean, we're already 3 months into the year, and of course, this is for someone in your position. It doesn't get a bit more nerve-wracking or anxious, but you know, since this is a one and only experience, the transition from college to pro, and how you get from point A to point B and make that your career. If you were to get called back to your university or to your high school, to your middle school, you know, wherever, somebody calls you back there, says, hey, we want you to say a few words to young athletes. What would you tell them based on everything that you've gone through just in the last 3 months?
I would tell them to be goal-oriented and to stay focused. Don't let injury or them not liking the coach or something minor at the time. Don't let something temporary take you off of your goal. For the most part, just stay focused.
Stay focused and don't let the temporary stuff. You know, it's interesting. You're the first person that I've heard say, you know, don't let something like not liking a coach get in the way. How important is the coach, though? Because obviously a lot of you guys will keep in touch with former coaches as kind of a support system. Did you have a coach you didn't like?
I mean, I had coaches I didn't really see eye to eye with. I think everybody does at some point. But, like, I'm not that type of person to kind of throw them under the bus. I'm not that type of person to throw them under the bus or just to kind of, like, blame stuff on the coach. Because I feel like at the end of the day, you can control what you can control. And I've come to realize that with my months, it took me quite some time to kind of realize that as a person. I think once I started to realize that, I started to not lean on to my own understanding to what people were saying from the outside looking in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not asking you to name names or personal experiences
for sure.
For details. So, but how did you overcome that? Like, how would you
I
tell
just felt
somebody?
Like when you start to talk about from over this experience, that's one thing I learned. I feel like when you start to talk about old things, or when you start to talk about what happened at the school, why you didn't play more, why you didn't make more plays, it makes you like kind of seem like you're complaining about, it's on the coach and not on yourself. So I didn't want to get in that mode. Yeah,
absolutely. How'd you overcome stuff like that? Coaches you didn't like, or just obstacles in general?
It kind of took me a while. I wouldn't even say I really overcame it, because it kind of hit me at a bad spot. Because just when I was doing pretty well, I ended up getting injured and had to get surgery. Then we changed coaching staff.
Yeah.
We changed coaching staff, and then everything just changed. And so it's kind of hard to overcome stuff when you change coaching staffs. And I had my first surgery on my lower body. So.
Oh man, yeah, I don't envy that at all. But I'm glad that you came out on the other side. And you're getting ready now. What's the plan look like for you down the stretch? You got a pro day lined up, and then are you having like a draft watch party? Like how's the rest of this crucial time in your life play out for you?
I mean, I'm just like how my roommate last year, Deidre Sonat, he ended up getting drafted by the Falcons. He didn't do anything big. He just sat. He kind of knew he was a day 2 guy. He got drafted 3rd round. To where he was just like, he killed workouts. He killed the combine when he went. I'm just hoping that I can do well at pro day enough to where I can get a couple invites to do some private workouts and to showcase myself even further. to where I can actually have an opportunity to try and make somebody's team this year.
Yeah, man, I'm looking so forward to you guys getting your opportunity and hopefully seeing you at that next level. And remember, this is a different age we're living in right now. Just because you don't hear your name,
yes, sir,
or if it doesn't work out in free agency, that doesn't mean that the journey's over, because the AAF is really making some waves. And I know that you guys don't want to talk about plan B or even C, but obviously, don't give up. That's my message to you guys, because there's there's a lot of different ways for the journey to unfold. So, hey, man, he is Vincent Jackson, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time, man, to come on, and hopefully we'll talk to you again here real soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Take care of yourself.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, he is back. The College Gridiron Showcase Outstanding Defensive Player of the Showcase. It is Bethune-Cookman's own Kevin Thompson. KT, welcome back, man. How you doing?
Man, how you doing, man? It's great to be back, man. Great to be able to talk again.
Great to have you. You were one of my favorites there down at the CGS, and obviously it seemed like you were a lot of people's favorites because, I made the speech, if you call it that, for when we awarded offensive and defensive. But let me just tell you, man, like, defense, it's a fickle beast. You guys have the advantage early on in the season because you're a unit out there, and it's usually easier for you guys to mesh early than the offense, who's got to go through a whole playbook and try to make the plays. And so it's hard for one guy to stand out. But you stood out, man. Like, everybody I talked to that day and even after, they were just like, yeah, man, that was the right call. Kevin Thompson all day. Like, he just did work. Like, is that something? Do you even get surprised by stuff like that anymore? Is it still humbling to you? Because it seems like you've been blowing up ever since, man. I'm really happy for you.
Yes, I was very surprised, actually, just to be able to play on that stage with them guys, being able to play again and just showcase my talent, just show everything I've been training and working for and grinding for, just putting my abilities on Front Street to show everybody, I came to compete and I'm compete with the best of them.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The competition, I always say competition keeps people honest, and I mean that. And I think if you've got good, healthy competition, then you're going to stay a good, healthy competitor. So it's been a couple of months now. March, we're about to flip the calendar to a new month in a still pretty fresh year. But we're already, 3 months into it. What's life been like post College Gridiron Showcase?
I mean, after the College Gridiron Showcase, I had a little more exposure. I had a little more people following my wave or following me just in general. I got a lot of people wondering like what I'm gonna do. So, I'm preparing for my numbers. I'm gonna try to put up some outstanding numbers for Pro Day, which is on March 29th. I'm just looking to wow everybody, because under the radar kid, with good athleticism and great versatility, nobody knows about me. So it's great just chasing it from the back end, whereas though people don't know about me and they're gonna get to know about me.
Oh yeah, man, we're gonna get them to know about you. Don't you worry. And I think it's funny. Your following has increased exponentially because I said, "Hey, you on Twitter?" You're like, "No." I was like, "You need to get a damn Twitter, man. Like, you got to be on that." And here you are, and you're blowing up on Twitter, and I love it, dude. It's so fun to see this happen for you guys. I talked with DeShante and Ron a couple of weeks ago, and those guys were in good spirits. So a lot of you guys are in good spirits, and that's great. But what's it like? Let's get your personal thoughts on this. This is something, a unique time in any person's life, really. I mean, it might be different from me to you and you to me, but this is what you're going through from college to the path to the draft. This is the only time that you'll ever do something like this, and what's that journey been like? Has that set in with you that you've never done this before, you'll never do it again? So everything that you do yesterday, today, tomorrow is got to be like that moment specifically?
Well, to be honest, with you, I'm actually focusing on myself, being better within. So if I'm bettering myself at everything, there's no possible way of leaving out anything. So my thing is I want to be an all-around better player. So I'm working on multiple different things to help me out with just being better at my game, things that help me out. And since I've never done this before, I'm easy to get along with. I'm coachable, very coachable, and I take heed to things that people say that have been through the process. I'm a genuine person, so when a person speaks to me genuinely and he's giving me some information of something I may not know, I'm a listen. I'm open-eared to everything. I don't never zone nobody out, and I don't ever feel like, I'm going to be able to zone people out because sometimes the people that's around you talking to you, they there for the better. And they want to see you as well as you want to see yourself as the best you could be.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think that you guys have definitely had the right mindset. You, of course, I don't think there's ever been any question about your mindset and what your goals are. You've made it incredibly clear to myself as well as everybody that's been following you as of late. What's been the one thing, though, that's kept you the most grounded? Like, what keeps you focused knowing that each week there could be a day that, it's like, man, I'm in this routine and I can skip today, but what makes you not skip that day? What makes you push harder? Maybe
I have multiple different reasons of why, but majority of the reasons why is because I'm an underdog, and no underdog takes no day off, and just because I'm an underdog, it makes me step up my grind and work harder. Also because I'm so close to where I want to be, it keeps me envisioning myself being there. So that also keeps me going. And I also have a daughter that's about to be born in the next couple months. So I have another mouth to provide for. So just giving her everything I never had the chance to, or, and just being her world,
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Keep me going. Family keep me going. And, just like my energy and all the people along this journey that I've lost, it's just everything plays a factor, adds fuel to my fire.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations on the upcoming baby girl. I'm sure she's going to be adorable. Have your eyes, your forehead, everything like that,
Yeah, man.
What's your support system like, and how's that working for you as far as pushing you one day to the next?
Well, I got some great people in my corner as far as, my agent, my trainer, my family and friends at home, my family and friends here, just the people around me. I've also been training with my friend since I've been here. His name is Todney Evans. And I believe iron sharpens iron, and, just competing with each other makes us better. And, we're both under the radar guys, so we're going to do everything and make everything necessary to do what we need to do to get it done.
Yeah, I think for you guys, it's staying focused, and however you do that. And each one of you has had, something different for what keeps you. Make sure that you're focused, that your eyes are on the prize, that you're not getting lazy, and that's huge, man, because that day is going to come, draft day, and you're going to want to hear.
We really don't have any days off. Really, our focus is on one thing. Everybody want to make that dream happen. We're trying to conquer our dreams. We're not just chasing our dreams. We're trying to conquer them. And we get it done with just training 2 to 3 hours a day at Speedline, working out in the gym at LA Fitness, working out in the gym for 2-3 hours. I mean, we doubled up almost every day. I'm starting to do some yoga for flexibility and hip. It's just a multitude of things that, that's going to attribute to that can contribute to my game that I need to just take heed to and just continue to keep working, man. Keep my head down, keep faith in God, and walk by faith and not by sight, man.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with and fully support, but I just got the visual of you trying to do yoga. And I want to do yoga with you. If we ever get together again, we'll have to plan a day and we can go and do yoga for a little bit, because I think that would be awesome and best of times to do yoga with Kevin Thompson. Well, if you were asked back to even Bethune-Cookman, but let's say high school, middle school, junior high, wherever your journey has led you through, if they called you back and said, hey, come talk with our students and young athletes, what advice would you give them as far as what you're going through right now?
Well, I tell them first off, cherish the people around you that's there for you, that's genuinely there for you. And just stay patient with the process, because it becomes a long process, and things happen. Things happen in this journey we call life, and sometimes it's 10% of things is about what happened to you. 90% is about how you react to them. So if you keep pushing in the right direction, you'll always succeed, and you'll always put yourself in position to be successful at life. Not just sports, but with life.
Yeah, I think that's picture perfect, man. That's gonna, it's gonna hit good with the crowd, whoever you're talking to. So that's good. I don't know if you've practiced that, but definitely sounds like it's from the heart. There was another guy from CGS I was talking to, and he was mentioning that, for him, it was a lot about not making excuses for himself, because he said that there's a lot of change that can happen. Obviously, in the game of football, we see turnover all the time, coaches, staff, players, depth chart, what have you. But he said there's times that you won't always like your circumstances, that you won't feel like you were given the best circumstances, dealt the best hand, and you might not even get along with your coaches. Have you gone through stuff like that? And if you have, how did you overcome it? What would you say about overcoming obstacles that are damn near completely out of your hand?
Well, yes, I actually have been through that before in my journey. I went to play junior college football on a partial scholarship from Deshaunte Lloyd. We went as a package deal. He was on the full ride, and I was on the partial. But unfortunately, me and him both went up there with promised positions that we'll have a chance or opportunity to play, which neither of us got that year. We were shirted due to favoritism, I'm gonna say, and while we was red shirted, we took heed to becoming the offense's nightmare. So, we wanted to create havoc, create chaos amongst practice, and just give them the best look possible. We wasn't the guys to take it as a loss. We took it as a positive and turned it to an advantage. We both ended up transferring, and both were starters. Both became starters, him at New Mexico State and me at Bethune-Cookman University.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad that you guys were able to take that and turn it into something positive. But, that's tough. I'm not going to lie, because there's a lot of stuff that I do that's way out of my control. Luckily for, I was given opportunity, just like you guys were by Jose, to go down, cover the CGS, and I had the time of my life. And obviously I got to meet great guys such as yourself, Deshaunte, Ron, and the rest of them, and it's really opened up a lot of doors. But you have to be given that chance, and then what you make of it is what you make of it. But sometimes it's hard to get the opportunities, it's hard to get the chances. So I appreciate you persevering, man. I think your story has definitely been one of my favorites.
Yes, sir. And then just the having the chance to play in the Gridiron Showcase, because after the FCS Bowl, I thought I was going to be done with the All-Star circuit. So it just crept up on me once I figured out that I was going to be in the game with my one of my friends that I started with. It was a real good link up. It was good vibes all weekend, and once we got in the room together, it was just like, man, it brought me back old times. He was just like, we back at it again, bro. And, we ain't come this far to turn around now. So, man, I'm going to have to see you on Sunday. I'm like, each day, bro, each day, one day at a time. It was just, the atmosphere that we created for amongst each other, that we fed off each other. We fed off each other energy. It's been a while since we've been around each other, and it's definitely been a while since we stepped on the same field together.
Yeah, man. And I think
my bad.
No, it's all good. Catch your breath.
I just took the grain of salt, and we ran with it, man. We just made the best. Took the opportunity and made the best of it.
And that's all you can do, is make the best of it. And I think you have definitely made the best of it. You seem to elevate the guys around you. It's almost like your attitude is contagious. It seemed like any time that you were out on that field or in the same room as other people, that it perked them up. And I think that speaks volumes for you as a competitor and an athlete as well, is your personality and your character. And, I hope everybody's been enjoying our interview, the clips of you in the video package that I put out recently. And, of course, the post-CGS interview, you with the belt. I got to say, nobody has looked, I think, more natural their first time with the belt than you did at CGS. So you're championship ready, my friend.
Man, it's just called a winner's attitude. I hate losing more than I love winning. But I understand the game comes with losses. But it's how you bounce back and how you take advantage of the losses and make them become wins. Because in each loss, there's a win and somewhere in it. Not everything's all bad in the game. When you lose, you take things from it and you move on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to put this on the record. I know that you and I talked about it, and I'm a man of my word, so I'm going to hold myself accountable. But you and I made a deal, is that if you find your way on a 53-man roster, whether it's the draft, free agency, get called up from a practice squad, whatever, if you're on a team come kickoff in September, I'm going to send you a belt as a congrats. So I did not forget about that.
Well, you might as well get that address ready. 'Cause I'm telling you, it's not if, it's just a matter of when.
I love it. I love this guy. I tell you, folks, he's one of my favorites. All right, well, on that note, I am a diehard Niners fan, and I'd love to see you wind up with them. But the point of this story is that I'll send you the belt, but whatever team you wind up on, even if it's not my Niners, I do not have an NFL jersey of a player that has not played for the 49ers. I would happily purchase yours as long as you sign it for me to put up in the studio here, all right?
How about this? If when I get drafted or undrafted and I get signed by whatever the team is, I give you an autographed first jersey I wear.
Oh, yes. That is what I'm talking about. All right, man. You have yourself a deal. He is Kevin Thompson of Bethune-Cookman, the outstanding defensive player of the College Gridiron Showcase, and a guy who is making big waves on his path to the draft. He calls himself an underdog, but he is hands down one of my favorites. Kevin, thank you so much again for taking the time, man.
I appreciate you.
All right. Hey, you take care of yourself. We'll talk again soon, all right?
All right, man. Stay in touch.
All right. Take care. And once again, thank you to Vincent Jackson Jr. and Kevin Thompson, because those guys are, I hope, nothing but the best for them. Kevin's obviously a very special guy. Vincent, good guy as well. And we'll see. It is combine time in the NFL offseason, and we will continue our path to the draft. We've got last all-new episode of this week tomorrow. The Masked Singer finale is on tonight. Who will win? That was, I guess, the pop culture news I forgot a little earlier, but we'll talk about the winner tomorrow. So until then, make sure that you're following along on Instagram and Twitter. Twitter handle @FanShowOfficial. Instagram is The Fan Show, and you can give us a like, share, listen, laugh, and love The Fan Show on Facebook, facebook.com/FanShowOfficial. And if you can't listen live, simply subscribe and download. Never miss a beat of all things football and nonsense, and that is iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Spreaker.com. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and remember, of course, it's all fun and games until you buff fumble. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his own player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.